Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Happy Nityananda Parents Day. Let's do Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Gira Vardhari. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Gira Vardhari. Shodanandana Vraj Jana Ranjana Shodanandana Vraj Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram Ram Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Agyantimirhandusya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvetam Savadutam Krishna Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Scha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Paranmami Hari Priye Pancha Kalpatu Brihascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Paditana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasdi Gaur Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Langyate Grim Yat Kirpatam Vandashi Gundi Taranam Paramananda Madham Shitsanation Hari Om Tassat Narayam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Naruttamam Devim Sansviti Vyasam Tato Jamaduriyat Nasta Presha Abdureshu Nitya Bhagavata-Sevayā Bhavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nishtaki. Okay, so where are we? Still in chapter 15. Now we are on verse 28. Last time Arjun revealed that the Yadus, not only Krishna has left, most of the Yadus have left as well. And we're also discussing that everything Krishna's energy, we should be Krishna centered. Our desire should be from Krishna's desire. Whatever his desire should be our desire. And Arjun was remembering the instructions given to him at the battle of Kurukshetra by Sri Krishna in the form of Bhagavad-Gita or the Gita of Lord Krishna. And he said that he finds that very useful. Whatever instructions he had, they were his guides at this time of sorrow and grief. They were useful to him. So although he was like in a very poor state, but he was saying that he's still seeing things from the eyes of the Shastras of Bhagavad-Gita, and that is holding him together, because obviously with Krishna leaving, everything was in turmoil. So let's continue with the 28. Okay. So we're just going to back to Sutta Goswami now for a bit. This all discussing the same thing. So Sutta Ovacha Evam Chintayoto Jishno Krishna Pasaro Ruham Sahu Haradaneta Kadena Shanta Sid Vimala Matahi. So Sutta Ovacha, Sutta Goswami said, Evam thus Chintayatha, while thinking of the instructions, Jishno of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna Pad, the feet of Krishna, Saruram, resembling lotuses, Sohardena, by deep friendship, Ati Gadena, in great intimacy, Shanta, pacified, Asit, it so became, Vimala, without any tinge of material contamination, Matahi, mind. So Sutta Goswami said, thus being deeply absorbed in thinking of the instructions of the Lord, which were imparted in the great intimacy of friendship, and in thinking of his lotus feet, Arjun's mind became pacified and free from all material contamination. So since the Lord is absolute, deep meditation upon him is as good as yogic trance. The Lord is none different from his name, form, quality, pastimes, entourage, and specific actions. So Arjun began to think of the Lord's instructions, which taking the association of instructions, whether this is your spiritual master or Krishna himself, is as good as taking the instruction face to face. So if the spiritual master is not there, then you can take association of his instructions, which are just as good. So the Lord's instructions to him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, only those instructions began to eliminate the tinges of material contamination in the mind of Arjun. The Lord is like the sun. The sun's appearance means immediate dissipation of darkness or ignorance. And the Lord's appearance within the mind of the devotee can at once drive away the miserable material effects. Lord Chaitanya has therefore recommended constant chanting of the name of the Lord for protection. So we can always, by chanting, constant chanting, so it's not like just matter of finishing your 16 rounds. We should always be chanting in the mind, always thinking of Krishna. That way you are always taking the association of the Lord, you're always connected with him. If somebody wants to know how can I be connected 24 hours a day with the Krishna, then just chant his name and you are automatically connected with him, you have that relationship with him, and you have the protection from him. So the Lord is like the sun. Sun's appearance means immediate dissipation of darkness or ignorance, and the Lord's appearance with the mind of a devotee can at once drive away the miserable material effects. Lord Chaitanya has therefore recommended constant chanting of the name of the Lord for protection from all contamination of the material world. So it keeps Maya away, protection from Maya. Because look, you have to remember that just because we have become devotees or we are aspiring devotees, that does not mean Maya thinks, oh, well, he's gone to the other side, I'll just forget him, I'll go and find somebody else. No, Maya does not work like that. Just because you have approached Krishna, Maya is not going to give up on you. Maya will always try, because Maya knows our weaknesses. It will always try to get you back. It has a service to do. If it's got nobody to serve, or rather nobody to attack, then how can it do its service? So it wants us back. So, I can carry on with his service and prove to Krishna that I'm doing my service properly. But if you refuse to go back under any circumstances, then the Maya has to give in, especially at the time of death. She'll give up and Krishna will take over. So like that. So Maya, never think that just because I have become now to come to Krishna consciousness, or I've taken shelter, I've taken initiation, I've become a Brahman, that Maya is not longer interested. Maya is always interested. While we are in this human body, Maya is always interested. It's up to us to break free from her. Maya doesn't want to give up on us. She never gives up on us. The feeling of separation from the Lord is undoubtedly painful to the devotee. But because it is in connection with the Lord, it has a specific transcendental effect which pacifies the heart. Feelings of separation are also sources of transcendental bliss, and they are never comparable to contaminated material feelings of separation. So the gopis were feeling blissful when Krishna was there, and they were feeling blissful when Krishna was not in front of them. That is transcendental. So it's same, with or without, there's still bliss there, and that's the highest kind of bliss, in separation. That's what Lord Chaitanya has recommended to us, that we feel the separation from the Lord, and that is the highest source of bhakti. Serving Krishna in the mood of separation. Everything we do, chanting in the mood of separation, singing kirtan in the mood of separation. That's the highest. Okay, so that's 28. Let's see if there's anything we can add. Yeah, it just says that when we think of Krishna, we can please Krishna that way. So Krishna is happy that when we are thinking of him and we haven't forgotten him. Okay, 29. Because always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Vasudevangari anudhayan paribhramita ramhasa o paribhramit ramhasa bhaktya nirmatit eshesha kashya dishano Arjuna. So Vasudev Angri, the lotus feet of the Lord, Anudhayan, by constant remembrance, Paribhrimhit, expanded, Ramhasa, with a great velocity, Bhaktya, in devotion, Nirmatita, subsided, Ashesh, unlimited, Kashaya, tint, the Shanaha, conception, Arjuna, Arjun. So Arjun's constant remembrance of the lotus feet of the Lord Shri Krishna rapidly increased his devotion. And as a result, all the trash in his thoughts subsided. So he's remembering Krishna in separation, and that increased his devotion. Material desires in the mind are the trash of material contamination. By such contamination, living being is faced with so many compatible and incompatible things that discourage the very existence of spiritual identity. So this contamination, some things we like and others we repel, and they disliking and disliking, these attachments and these aversions, they actually obstacles in our bhakti. So many compatible and incompatible things. Birth after birth, the conditioned soul is entrapped with so many pleasing and displeasing elements, which are all false and temporary. So it's illusionary. It's an illusion of duality. That's what my class is on this Sunday. If you can come, please join. False and temporary. They accumulate due to our reactions to material desires. But when we get in touch with the Transcendental Lord in His variegated energies by devotional service, the naked forms of all material desires become manifest, and the intelligence of the living being is pacified in its true color. As soon as Arjuna turned his attention towards the instructions of the Lord, as they are inculcated in the Bhagavad-Gita, his true color of internal association with the Lord became manifest, and thus he felt freed from all material contaminations. So when we see things from the material point of view, then it's a lot of disappointment and a lot of grief. But when we see from a transcendental point of view, then it's totally different atmosphere, different feeling. So Srila Prabhupada explains that this trash of material contaminations, that is the anarthas and unwanted attachments that we add, that's what we're trying to clear, the anartha nivriti, clearance of the anarthas, because we have so many from life after life, and it takes a while, takes a long time to clear. And if you want to know how to clear them, then please come to the class on Sunday. We'll tell you more. Gitam Bhagavata Jnanam Yattat Sangram Murdhani Kal Karam Tamo Rudam Punar Adhyagamat Prabhu. So Gitam instructed Bhagavata by the personality Godhead, Jnanam transcendental knowledge, Yat which that Sangram Murdhani in the midst of battle, Kal Karam time and actions, Tamaha Rudam or Rudham, and wrapped by such darkness, Punha Adhyagamat, revived them again, Prabhu, the Lord of his senses. So because of the Lord's pastimes and activities, and because of his absence, it appeared that Arjuna forgot the instructions left by the personal Godhead, but factually this was not the case. And again he became Lord of his senses, because of the Lord's pastime activities and because of his absence. So it's actually the way he was talking earlier, it seemed like he had forgotten the instructions and he was like bewildered and he was out of control. But that's something, it's natural. Arjuna is emotional, he's giving his heart to Krishna as we've discussed, so it's natural to be grieved. But after that grief, the initial period of grief, then you remind yourself of the instructions from the Shastras and bring yourself back in control of your emotions, in control of your senses. This is a difference between somebody who's Krishna conscious and who's non-Krishna conscious. People behave in all sorts of ways when someone very dear leaves, or even their wealth leaves them, or their health leaves them, any opulence that leaves them, their beauty leaves them, that they try to get it back by injecting poisons in their faces, and God knows, what they do, and they're over And we've seen examples in the news, the actors and actresses, they're trying to revive something that was like before. You can't get it back. Okay, once your youth is gone, you cannot reverse it. And they try artificial means, and they over poison themselves, and then they kill themselves like that. So when you see things from perspective of the Shastras, it's so mundane, it's temporary. Everything, even if you prolong something, it's not going to go forever. It's going to be, even the demigods, they have such a long lifespan, even they have to go. So why just put yourself under anxiety trying to keep things for too long? Obviously, we need our bodies, we need our senses to serve Krishna, but we make sure we don't do anything that upsets our natural health, but trying to revive our beauty and all this and that, and that's not going to help Krishna consciousness. So if you're following Dharma, if you follow Krishna consciousness, as long as you're doing things within that, then Krishna, he always helps you as well, to make sure that you are at least able to achieve the minimum. But trying to artificial means, it's not a good idea. A conditioned soul is enwrapped in his fruitive activities by the force of eternal time. But the Supreme Lord, when he incarnates on the earth, is not influenced by Kal or the material conception of past, present, and future. The activities of the Lord are eternal, and they are manifestations of his Atma Maya, or internal potency. All pastimes or activities of the Lord are spiritual in nature, but to the layman, they appear to be on the same level with material activities. It so appeared that Arjuna and the Lord were engaged in the battle of Kurukshetra, as the other party was also engaged, but factually, the Lord was executing his mission of incarnation and association with the eternal friend Arjuna. And therefore, such apparently material activities of Arjuna did not drive him away from his transcendental position, but on the contrary, revived his consciousness of the songs of the Lord as he sang them personally. This revival of consciousness is assured by the Lord in Bhagavad-Gita 18.65. Manmana bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskru mam aveshasi satyam te pratijane priyo sime. So one should think of the Lord always. The mind should not forget him. One should become a devotee of the Lord, offer obeisance to him. So these are the instructions. One who lives in that fashion becomes undoubtedly endowed with the blessings of the Lord by achieving the shelter of his lotus feet. There is nothing to doubt about this eternal truth. Mr. Arjuna was his confidential friend. The secret was disclosed to him. Okay, so first, as we're discussing, that you give him your mind, you become his devotee, and you pay obeisance to him, you worship, and then eventually you will give your heart to him as well. It's difficult to give your heart straight away. There may be love at first sight in the material world, and then this breakup on the first fight as well. So what comes easy goes easy as well. Okay, we may not be having love at first sight with Krishna because we are illusioned at the moment, but slowly and surely you can get rid of that illusion, and as that smoke lifts, we can see the reality. As the smoke of illusion lifts from our eyes, then we will see the reality, and then we can give our heart to Krishna as well. That doesn't mean we don't practice giving our heart. We should at least, fake it till you make it, but as long as you mean to make it and not just fake it for the rest of your life. So, we can try that. Krishna, I've given my heart to you. And when you're singing, when you're chanting, say to, if I haven't given my heart, please allow me to give my heart to you. I want to give you my heart. Tell me how I can give you my heart. So like that. Arjuna had no desire to fight with his relatives. but he fought for the mission of the Lord. He was always engaged in the execution of his mission only. And therefore, after the Lord's departure, he remained in the same transcendental position, even though it appeared that he forgot all the instructions of the Bhagavad-Gita. And one should therefore adjust the activities of life in pace with the mission of the Lord, and by doing this, one is sure to return back home, back to Godhead. This is the highest perfection of life. So one should therefore adjust the activities of life in pace with the mission of the Lord. So we are following mission of Mahaprabhu, and even Lord Nityananda, he followed the mission of Mahaprabhu. And my message in the group, that we follow the mission, he says, stay in your position, do your bhakti, and share your bhakti, and make sure you study the scriptures so you can get your facts right. How can you share something if you don't know the facts? Make sure you study properly, process it, get your realizations, share them with other people, help them as well. Jiva Daya is one of the very important tenets. So, help others. You can do that from the comfort of your own home. It could not be easier. So that's 30. If we adjust the activities of life, put Krishna in the center without neglecting our duties and responsibilities. So they made it so easy that we can still carry on with our responsibilities and duties and do Krishna consciousness. It could not be easier. I mean, what if we all have to leave home by the age of 50, especially the Prabhus, they have to leave home. Now you're 50, celebrate your 50th birthday, and then like next day you're out, have your suitcases ready, you're out, you're going to the forest or somewhere, and you're going to live there, leave your family, your kids still maybe very young, and you still got a mortgage on your head. Well, good luck with that, because I'm off. So it doesn't, in the Kali Yuga, it doesn't work like that. And so Mahaprabhu, he came and he made it so easy for us. He gave nobody knew, because they were still following the Dwapar Yuga rules, thinking like that. But when Mahaprabhu came, he said, look, now you don't need to leave your home, but don't forget to do your bhakti as well. Keep Krishna in the center, and you can just carry on your life. It's not a problem. So merciful. Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda. Okay, we'll do one more. Vishoko Brahma Sampatya Sanchina Dvet Samshaya Lena Prakrti Nirgunyat Alingat Vad Asambhavha. So Vishokaha, free from bereavement, Brahma Sampatya, by possession of spiritual assets, Sanchin, being completely cut off, Dvait Samshaya, from the doubts of relativity, Lean, merged in, Prakriti, material nature, Nirgunyat, due to being in transcendence, Alingatvat, because of being devoid of a material body, Asambhava, free from birth and death. So because of his possessing spiritual assets, the doubts of duality were completely cut off. Thus he was freed from the three modes of material nature and placed in transcendence. So because of his possessing spiritual assets, the doubts of duality were completely cut off. Thus he was freed from three modes of material nature and placed in transcendence. There was no longer any chance of his becoming entangled in birth and death, for he was freed from material form. So doubts of duality begin from the misconception of the material body, which is accepted as a self by less intelligent persons. The most foolish part of our ignorance is identifying this material body with the self. Everything in relation with the body is ignorantly accepted as our own. Doubts due to misconceptions of myself and mine, in other words, my body, my relatives, my property, my wife, my children, my wealth, my country, my community, hundreds and thousands of similar illusory contemplations. So the duality begins from the misconception of the material body, because we're connecting everything to it's mind. Mind is like going to be there forever. It's not mine, it's borrowed from the Lord, and Krishna giveth and Krishna taketh it away as well. Everything belongs to Krishna. So by assimilating the instruction of the Bhagavad-Gita, one is sure to be released from such bewilderment, because real knowledge is knowledge that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, Lord Krishna, is everything, including oneself. Everything is a manifestation of his potency as part and parcel. So even the soul belongs to Krishna, not just the material things. The potency and the potent are non-different. So the conception of duality is at once mitigated by attainment of perfect knowledge. As soon as Arjuna took up the instructions of the Bhagavad-Gita, expert as he was, he could at once eradicate the material conception of Lord Krishna, his eternal friend. He could realize that the Lord was still present before him by his instruction, by his form, by his pastimes, by his qualities, and everything else related to him. He could realize that Lord Krishna, his friend, was still present before him by his transcendental presence in different non-dual energies, and there was no question of attainment of the association of the Lord by another change of body under the influence of time and space. Because that's what our bodies are. We are under the influence of time and space, whereas Krishna is not under the influence of time and space. He is, we can only be in one place at one time and for a certain amount of time. Krishna can be everywhere and all the time. By attainment of absolute knowledge, one can be in association with the Lord constantly. Even in the present life, simply by hearing, chanting, thinking, and worshipping the Supreme Lord, one can see him, one can feel his presence, even in this present life, simply by understanding the Advaya Gyan Lord, or the Absolute Lord, through the process of devotional service, which begins with hearing about him. Lord Chaitanya says that simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can at once wash off the dust on the mirror of pure consciousness, and as soon as the dust is removed, one is at once freed from all material conditions. To become free from material conditions means to liberate the soul. As soon as one is therefore situated in absolute knowledge, his material conception of life is removed, or he emerges from a false conception of life. Thus the function of the pure soul is revived in spiritual realization. This practical realization of the living is made possible due to his becoming free from the reaction of three modes of material nature. So he rises above the three modes, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. By the grace of the Lord, a pure devotee is at once raised to the place of the Absolute, and there is no chance of the devotees becoming materially entangled again in conditioned life. One is not able to feel the presence of the Lord in all circumstances until one is endowed with the required transcendental vision made possible by devotional service prescribed in the revealed scriptures. So devotional service is given a lot of importance. Arjuna had attained this stage long before on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And when he apparently felt the absence of the Lord, he at once took shelter of the instructions of Bhagavad-Gita. And that is what we have to do in all situations. And Bhagavad-Gita gives the answers to all your questions. And thus again, he was placed in his original position. This is the position of Vishok, or the stage of being freed from all grief and anxiety. So Krishna is there in the form of Bhagavad-Gita, in the form of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, to answer our questions. So it says that Anushilanam means constantly with no break. If you want a break, it means you are not following the process properly. Take the shelter of the holy name. So if we need rest from Krishna, that means you were never connected in the first place. We thought we were connected, but we were not connected. Because once you connect with Krishna, you don't want to let go. Whether it's in the mood of separation or with him face to face, you cannot let him go. And if you are getting bored and you think, oh, I need to have a rest from this, then you've never connected in the first place. Because he's the most attractive. Krishna is most attractive, and there's nothing else that can replace it. So how can leave Krishna and replace with something else, which we do? Undoubtedly, we're all guilty of that. Just say we've been to a class or a kirtan or something, been to a program, spent 2, 3, 4 hours there, and then we want to break, let's pop into here or pop into there, and let's have this, let's have that. You sort of like trying to, your senses are missing the fun. Not that you just spend 4 hours in a top bliss. No, you got to. Now you feel that you earned. Your senses have earned, because they were like forced to listen to the class or the kirtans, and now they've earned their reward. So we go and do some material gratification and reward it by, thank you for cooperating with me. You're so nice that you sat there for 4 hours. Now I will reward you for doing that. This is what we do, isn't it? And it gives us a lot of pleasure. We're happy that yes, we done our Sanatana Dharma, and now we do a Swadharma by enjoying ourselves. We all do that. That's because we're not quite there yet. We are still work in progress. So thank you so much, and like to hear from yourselves. Right, stop sharing. Hare Krishna. Okay, so we can start with Hina Mataji. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you so much for the class. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I don't have too much to add today. I think some of the points, there's so many nice points that you've already covered, Prabhu.
Well, you can tell me what stood out for you then.
What stood out for me? Yeah, so around things like remembering Krishna is what Krishna consciousness is all about. And I think, this is talking about myself, I probably am more Maya conscious and occasionally remember Krishna. So yeah, that's the challenge, isn't it? It's trying to how to switch those things around. And I was just thinking about how Krishna consciousness and our devotional service is the most important thing, as it's often sometimes referred to as our greatest wealth. And if that's our greatest wealth, then we really don't need to be striving for anything else in this life, materially. And yeah, I was just kind of contemplating how, our life is often compared to like a drop of water on a lotus leaf. It's just, it's something that just, it rolls down a leaf and it just disappears and it's just over before you know it, kind of thing. So, and that's how short our life is. So, especially when you compare our lifetimes with other, compared to some of the stories that we hear in our sastras about people who used to live, very long lives, and obviously our lifespan is reduced specifically in this yuga, as we know. So it's even more important to just not waste time, which I tell myself all the time. So yeah, those were a few thoughts from this morning's class. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Praveen Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada Pranam. Yes, well, we are reminded again the importance of total absorption and total dependence on Krishna, and Krishna Anushilanam, cultivation of service and relationship to Krishna. And so also it can, unalloyed bhakti. So we just have to depend on Krishna and Krishna only and not deviate. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has given us the Mahamantra that's, because Krishna is not different from his name, form, quality, or pastimes. So it's very easy to be in association of Krishna all the time. And the important shloka, Manmana Bhavat Bhakta. So Arjuna, he remembered Krishna's instructions, and they're not only for Arjun, they're for all of us. And Srila Prabhupada, very mercifully, he's given us all the purports so we can understand now, what is the importance. And then Lord is compared to the sun, how the sun dissipates the darkness, and same happens when we remember Krishna. All our material problems, they go away. We just have to remember, and we have to realize, so are we thinking of Krishna all the time, or we just only when we are in great difficulty? So दुख में सुमिरन सब करे, सुख में करे न कोई, जो सुख में सुमिरन करे तो दुख काहे को होए. So we just have to remember Krishna all the time, then we are not affected by any material problems. Problems come, but Krishna gives us the strength because he is the doer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the other point was again mentioned about the bondage, considering one thinking we are this body and associating with that and me and mine. So that is the cause of bondage. And when we understand everything belongs to Krishna and we are Krishna's part and parcel, that is the true knowledge, and that really helps. And we have seen in life, like when we understand, when we're going through the problem or hard time, and we realize everything is in Krishna's control, how our mind becomes calmer. And yeah, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks so much. Ajay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes, there's a frustration that sometimes for devotees that they are unable to connect fully with Krishna. Why is it that some devotees have connected so nicely, they seem to have surrendered to Krishna while like not being able to do so? And I think we need to accept that we are all on different journeys. There is some mercy that they receive that we haven't. It's not a case of being fair or unfair, just there's so many lifetimes have gone into this. There's so much, and then obviously there are endeavor as well. And the Lord's mercy, we can't dictate how it works, but what we can do is make the effort to show Krishna that we are sincere, that we are trying. And then I would say it's a case of looking at your own spiritual journey. Are you actually progressing? If you are progressing, then you can look to see what you can do to improve your progress. As examples given in Bhagavad-Gita of the mirror is full of dust. Have you removed that dust from that mirror? Are you recognizing the real self rather than being conditioned? And it's actually funny sometimes when you do look back and think that actually you really enjoyed yourself at a particular program, association with devotees, whatever, and yet you could still find yourself where it becomes you have to disengage. You have to do something pointless. I think that just speaks to more in terms of maybe developing stamina for bhakti. Because bhakti can be overpowering at times because we're not used to it. Because we are materially conditioned. It can be a case you can having too much of a good thing, whereas you need to kind of develop that strength where you're constantly absorbed in Krishna consciousness, constantly absorbed in bhakti. And it's not and your progress might come quickly, it might come slowly. Essentially you have to make the effort, and you have to also understand that if there's something going wrong, then there's some issue there that you haven't dealt with. Whether maybe you've done some offense, or you're not executing your bhakti properly, maybe some process you're not doing correctly, then it comes down to us to being mindful, as I said, being Krishna conscious. If you actually are making Since more than sincere, if you're actually making effort to actually understand what you need to do to improve, like say if you're doing a course and you're not getting the correct, not getting the highest marks, then you'd ask the teacher, or you look to a course module or whatever, that where am I going wrong? Similar to that in bhakti, you just need to try to actually understand what am I doing right, what am I doing wrong, and then like explain it to instruction. You do what's favorable for your bhakti and you avoid what's unfavorable for your bhakti. And I think if we do that, then we have Krishna already promised us that you just always think of me, become my devotee, and you'll come back. So the promise is there. We just need to follow through the process properly, and then we can either go back to Godhead or we serve Krishna in some way, whichever way is favorable to him. And that's just a wonderful thing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thanks so much. Yeah, this is why we need guru, we need association, because ourselves, we can't always assess ourselves properly. Other people can assess us. We can see from the reaction to us how we speak, how we behave, and how we respond, how we serve. They can tell, where we can judge from that or gauge from that whether we go in the right direction. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, everyone. My pranams to all of you. Yes, we are again seeing in these pastimes the relevance of Lord's instructions, be it through Bhagavad-Gita or Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam or the other scriptures, and how Arjuna is deeply absorbed in the remembrance of the Lord, and he was purified because of that, and that is the only thing which is going to purify us as well. Otherwise, as we were discussing in the class, that Maya is always there, waiting to enter into our lives through this, that, here, there, everywhere she is. So wherever we see there is Lord, and wherever we see there is Lord's Shakti, external Shakti, Maya.
Right behind him.
Right behind him, always on the top of our lives. And if it was just for us, we would be giving ourselves, top marks in every respect, that I am top. This is how we are. But in the association of the Sadhu Sangha, in the association of the Shastras, in the association of other people, that's why this world has been designed. Otherwise, we'll be the lord of everything if it wasn't for the, people around us. And it is sometimes frustrating when someone is scrutinized or, checked with the needle hole. But that's how it is. That's how your progress is going to be assessed. Or that's why we went to schools when we were little. We could have been we could have been taught everything at home, but no, to make our characters, to make us ready for integrating into the society, we are sent to the schools, gurukuls, and when we later on we grow up, we join the clubs, the societies for this reason only. And I've learned that the realizations are the only assets of a devotee in a devotee's life. And realizations coming from the Shastras, not realizations coming from your own crazy mind and your own self-centered thinking, self-gratificatory life. No, not from that, from the Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And we have seen that Arjun found the solace only after revisiting the instructions of Sri Krishna, and liberation is going to come to us only through devotional service, and the exemplary behavior of the Pandavas again is shown in these verses, and this is very, very encouraging for all of us, that no matter how situation or life is, like we can find the source of happiness, we can also find the source where it's coming from, the Lord and be always centering our lives around Him. That's the only way. And I would like to wish everyone happy Varaha Dev's appearance day, also Nityananda Trayodashi, and let's ask from the Adi Guru to give us all the right instructions and make us steadfast in our belief, in our faith, and in our execution of the devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all so much. And we'll stop here and catch up again on Monday. We nearly need about 4 more sessions of this, and then we can have the overview. And the overview will be the Ajay Gora Rai Prabhu this time, and on a Wednesday. So maybe not coming Wednesday, the Wednesday after. We're looking for that. So thanks so much. Granthra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Yeah.
Guru Prem Nande, Hari Hari
Very
Bol,
well.
Shri Nityananda
Thank you.
Jai.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Hari
Hari
Hari.
Bol.